بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. In this video, I want to give the youth, especially the Muslim youth, a message about difference of opinion in Islam. Right now, what happens typically is that we don't usually study religion. Right, religion is not the topic of the time. People have stopped studying religion, stopped going to scholars. So, as a result of that, we are not even aware of the basics of this religion, right? And I say this to my friend all the time, that we spend nights and nights studying, like they're called all-nighters, right? Those students call them, and on their final exams, they stay up late, they drink like energy drinks, right? Struggle, work hard, and we work hard to achieve something, right? But when it comes to religion, we don't want to work hard. We need everything in a plate, right? And then we want someone to feed the food in the plate in our mouth, right? So because of this lack of knowledge that the current generation has, we cannot take difference of opinion. We don't have the courage and the strength and the ability to accept difference of opinion. So what happens as a result of that is that if someone becomes religious, they start panicking when they are exposed to this difference of opinion that has been there amongst Muslims for a long time. Of course, it's been a long time, more than 1400 years, from the time of the Prophet ﷺ. This religion has went through different phases, as every other religion, right? And there is difference of opinion in different aspects of this religion. So I'll talk about more about the four madhabs, right? Most of the Muslims, they uh, stick to one of the four madhabs, especially in the subcontinent, right? And all the countries, South Asia and Indonesia and those countries, right? They stick particularly to the Hanfi madhab. I'll talk about these later. But then there are other smaller groups, like compared to the Sunnis, right? The Sunni is like a bigger umbrella, and then there are others groups like the Shia, right? So there's difference of opinion. So my message to the youth is that please try to learn, right? Spend some all-nighters for this religion also, and then you'll see that things will start becoming obvious. And education, right? Education opens our eyes, right? As, like, for example, either if you talk to a person who has lived in a small city his or her a whole life, and you talk to a person who has traveled, they're gonna be very different in their approaches, because the person who travels becomes very broad-minded, because that person has looked at different ways of life, and for that person, they know that people have different styles, different ways of life. But when it comes to a person, a person who has not learned anything, right, is just like that person who has not traveled, right? Because books and knowledge is like, it helps you travel in a different way, right? So you become broad-minded and you start accepting difference of opinion the same way a person who travels starts accepting difference in cultures. So don't panic. This has strong implications. Because of panicking, we tend to start moving towards people who are very naive, like who are like outspoken. This is happening all around the world. Well, particularly in Muslim country like Pakistan, um, that we tend to go towards people who don't have knowledge, but they are outspoken, right? They've learned, they tend to be like the person who has not traveled a lot, so they cannot they invite people to a place where there's less difference of opinion, right? And obviously that's not a bad thing, except that if the person is learned, right? the person is not learned himself or herself, then again he's like a person who hasn't traveled, right? So they don't know how different cultures are different from each other, right? So so I'll talk more about this in other videos, but again, a message is that please learn, do some research, find a scholar, right? Find people who are learning the same way you find universities to learn something. Find learned people to learn things, as I've talked about this in other videos. Find giants, right, so that you can stand on their shoulders and look ahead. And then you'll see that the difference of opinion. Then you won't panic, right? On difference of opinion, and you'll see that is going to benefit you a lot. So jazakallah for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Keep believing, keep learning, and keep smiling.